What's up YouTube, and welcome back to my vlog, Intellectual Physique. This week has been really significant for my own personal journey, as Friday marked 1 year that I decided to change my mind and change my physical appearance, while Monday will be my 31st birthday. I decided, since this is my first official vlog, that it would be a good time to tell you guys my story, kind of where I came from to where I am today, and I hope you enjoy it. So I figured a good place to start would be a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Gainesville, Florida. I went to undergrad at the University of Florida and majored in business management. I got my law degree from Florida Coastal School of Law in Jacksonville, and at the same time I got my MBA at Jacksonville University. I have a dog named Halpert, yes, after Jim Halpert from The Office, and I have one brother who still lives in Jacksonville, Florida, while I reside back in Gainesville, Florida. I currently practice law in Gainesville, Florida. I've opened my own practice and I specialize in business law and do some family law as well. So why I gained the weight? There are several reasons why I gained so much weight, but the two obvious ones is the fact that I went to law school and got my MBA at the same time. There were a lot of late night studying, very few gym sessions, and a lot of fast food. I didn't have time to cook, I didn't have time to go to the gym, I didn't have time to go running. I simply studied and focused all my attention on school. Not to brag, but I was pretty successful in law school. I was managing editor of my law review, I graduated in the top 10% of my class, and my MBA I think I ended with a 3.78 GPA. So I was fortunate to pass the bar on my first try in September of 2015, and although this sounds like bragging, you'll soon find out this is what led to me both becoming depressed and even more overweight. So for about 6 months after passing the Florida bar, I struggled to find a job. I struggled to even get interviews for jobs, and I was forced in January of 2016 to move back in with my parents. So you can only imagine the state of mind of a recent graduate of law school, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and having to move back in with his parents because he couldn't find a job. So I began to really deteriorate mentally. I've kind of got depressed after being on such a high and then not paying the dividends that you thought it was going to pay. I refused to work out. I refused to eat healthy. I just was in a bad state of mind. You would often find me in the bar drinking, because what other way to drown my sorrows than to go drink? I really just lacked all motivation. I didn't have any desire to work out or get in shape, no desire to get out of the house. So I pretty much fell into a pretty bad depression. In January of 2017, I turned 30 years old. Now hopefully that's not my midlife, but I suffered a midlife crisis. I was significantly overweight, I suffered from depression, and I had really no motivation to change. But something happened on my 30th birthday that clicked in my head. I realized that if I didn't make a change, things were only going to get worse. So I decided to find a diet, an exercise routine, and try to get out of this funk that I was in. With this depression came some other significant problems. For about 3.5 years, I refused to look in a mirror with my shirt off. I had no self-esteem whatsoever. And I knew I was overweight and I lacked all self-worth. I felt crummy all the time, I ached and pained everywhere, and I got terrible sleep. All this combined led to even more depression. So it was time to make a difference in my life. So how my journey started? Well, I knew I needed to make a difference, and I had tried to lose weight before and oftentimes was successful in little increments, but then I just gained the weight back. In order for this time to be different, I knew I had to change some things about the way I dieted. So I started with something simple. I removed one thing from my diet at a time, and when I got comfortable without that thing in my diet, then I would remove something else. So I started with soda. I was a soda phenom. Maybe not regular soda, I did drink diet soda, but either way, I think it made me gain weight. So I started with Diet Coke. I removed all Diet Coke from my diet. After a few weeks, I no longer craved Diet Coke, and I moved on to the next thing, sweets, and so on and so forth. While removing the bad things one at a time from my diet, I also started adding nutritional things one at a time in my diet. I would add more fruits, more vegetables, and decrease the amount of meat I had. I did this over time, as well as taking away most carbs in my diet. The next thing I did was I slow-paced my physical routine. Being an athlete most of my life, I wanted to start where I left off and run 4 and 5 miles, which was not possible with the weight I've gained. So I started off slow. I ran a mile my first day. I ran it in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. I did that and it was a struggle. And I knew then that I had to move slowly if I wanted to make this a routine and not just give up after it getting too hard. As I slow paced my workouts, I realized there were days that I just didn't feel like it. So instead of sitting on my butt not doing anything, I would get out and walk. I would walk 1 to 2 miles at most. I would go out and just enjoy the day and just enjoy not being inside on the couch. It was through this slow pacing of my workouts that I realized I was getting stronger and stronger each day and my endurance was building. I was then able to do full workouts and be able to really maintain a high level of intensity. And lastly, something I did that I'll swear by is I created an Instagram account dedicated to my workouts. This created accountability for me. If I didn't post a picture every day of something I did physical, then I felt like I was doing something wrong. This accountability led me to every day doing something physical, even if it's just taking a walk. It was through this process that I was able to create good habits, lose weight, and change my mental focus. So where I'm at today, after only 6 months I was able to drop 60 pounds. Not only that, after those 6 months I started dedicating to muscle building and to hopefully getting a six-pack. I also was able to run my first half marathon on Thanksgiving. The boy that used to run a mile in 9 minutes and 30 seconds was able to run his first half marathon with an average pace of 8 minutes and 25 seconds. Lastly, I was able to handle my anxiety. I no longer have anxiety attacks, and anytime I feel myself getting upset, I just go outside and bust out a workout. It's through this that I was able to feel better mentally and physically and get to where I am today. And as you can see by these pictures, I no longer lack self-esteem. I feel better mentally and physically, and I've completely changed my life. You can even ask my friends, they've noticed a huge difference in me. I'm excited how far I've come, but this is exactly why I created this vlog, to help each of you that are both struggling with weight loss and overcoming anxiety and depression. This is something that I feel very passionate about, and my own journey has led me to wanting to help others. So I hope you got a little bit about my story, and will tune into the weeks to come where I'll have more focused discussions on exactly how I got to where I am today. And as always, thank you for watching, and please hit the subscribe button below and follow me on Instagram at Intellectual Physique. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at intellectualphysique@gmail.com. Thanks.